Hello, everyone. Peter Dennis here. Today, my guest is Maureen Kelly. And in just a minute, we'll talk to Maureen and find out a little bit more about her. But I wanted to welcome everybody here today. Maureen is a channeler. She lives in the state of Washington, just outside of Seattle, she tells me, in a little town that probably isn't on too many maps. But anyway, Maureen, welcome. Nice to have you here.
Hello, welcome. It's very nice to be here and talk to you.
Good. Maureen, I think a lot of our audience is curious about channelers. And, I think some may have the idea that a channeler has to be, somebody who's always spiritual, sitting in the lotus position, contemplating or meditating all the time. Give us a little background on yourself and maybe weave into it a little bit about how you got into channeling.
Well, I got into channeling by accident because I never ever thought I would be a channeler. But I have been taught to write down what you want, what you wish for, and so forth. So I have several times. And then I saw Suzanne Giesman, who is a medium, and she has several classes. So I thought I would take the one beginning mediumship. No offense against Suzanne, so I have nothing bad to say, but it didn't resonate with me because there were too many rules and regulations. And my mind is such that if I sit down and go through all the list, I'll be tired, or I'll be confused or upset by the time I get to the bottom of the list. So I sort of figured out my own way to just sit quietly. And I found out that if I just say, I'm asking for someone to come in, not anyone specific. And I sort of created, when I closed my eyes, a little scene for myself. And just by accident, they started coming in. Mm. And I was with a group of people and I would say, oh, does somebody have this as a father or mother or aunt or uncle? Sometimes I'd be wrong. But that's the growing pains. That's learning how to do things. Mm-hmm. And then one day I was doing some mediumship with this group that I belonged to. And all of a sudden, this most beautiful, handsome Native American came in his dance, the feather helmet thing and the beautiful, beautiful dress and just beautiful. I don't say outfit or costume because that's not right, because that is their dress. And he said, hello, and I'm here for you. And I immediately knew who he was. So I named him Standing Bear. And he has been with me ever since. He was a Sioux chief at one time. And he has now transformed into wanting to be a spirit guide. And I had a life with him thousands of years ago. And that's why I'm so attached to Yellowstone, because that's where they lived in the summertime.
Oh, you just came back from there, I understand.
Yeah, I really like it. And I think whatever he did, I think he raised my vibrational level just enough that my mediumship started to really work really well. And then I was happy with that. I thought, oh, good, this is fun to talk to people. And then I was to tell everybody I was out in my yard gardening and I kept hearing the name Edward, not a clue as to what was going on. And so then I contacted someone who is a channeler, and I had a session with her and she said, yeah, he would like to come through to you. So it was a back and forth for a while with Edward. He had to learn to balance his energy to meet mine, and I had to learn to balance my energy to meet him.
Yeah.
And he was struggling because it's his first time here on Earth as a spirit guide. And he had been living in other galaxies. And he is an Arcturian. He doesn't say anything about that he was he doesn't say what he did or what he was. He just says, I'm Edward. I picked that name because I liked it. It was simple. I heard it one time and I thought, oh, that's a nice name. Because he doesn't really care what he's called. So it took us several sessions to balance. And then all of a sudden I could start to match his energy. And I just said, now, how do I do this? So with the help of that person that I called, she said, just just do this. So I slowly brought him in, and I talked very, very slowly at the beginning. And then pretty soon as my energy got stronger and raised, I could speak more clearly in longer sentences. And now we're just like good old friends.
Yeah, that's fairly typical. There's not only do they have to lower their vibration and you have to raise yours to be in the same ballpark, but then there's a bit of an alignment that has to happen. And it takes a few practice sessions before that just, really clicks. And Edward, I understand for him, this is the first human that he's channeled through. So he's making a few adjustments as well, probably trying to get used to your anatomy, your brain, your voice blocks, vocal cords, maybe the English language. Who knows?
Yeah.
Getting back to some of my original question, did you grow up in Washington State or?
No, I grew up in California, outside of Los Angeles.
Okay.
And gradually my parents and I moved a little further north to a little town called Santa Maria, and I had horses. And at that point I went to the Santa Maria Junior College and became a nurse there. Got my education for that there, and stayed there for a while, worked in the hospital. And then after a while, we all picked up and moved even further north, excuse me, in California, in a town called Sonoma, and it's known for its wine. So there were vineyards everywhere. And then both my parents died, and I'm picked up, and I didn't like California after a while. It was crowded, it was expensive. Something just told me to move. So came up to Washington, found this nice house, and had my horses at the time, and went to work as a nurse. And then I retired, and now I don't have any more horses, and I just have this land, and that's where I met Edward.
Yes, and my spies tell me that Edward is not the only friend.
No.
Who else did you channel?
I was just meditating one time with some friends. I had belonged to several different groups, and other people started coming through, and I go, why do they want to talk to me? What do I have? What am I doing that they want to come through me? And some very interesting people have come through. And then Edward was here, and then all of a sudden I saw somebody else, and I said, who is that now? I wasn't angry, I wasn't mad, I was just like, what is going on? All these people keep coming. And then all of a sudden I recognized who it was, and it was Jesus, but I call him Yeshua. And I thought he was just going to stand here and listen. But no, he said, no, I'd like to talk through you. And I thought, how do I do this? And doubting myself at first, wondering, why would he come to me when he can go to somebody else? You question, how is this? But there was no judgment anywhere. He just said, he just slipped in very, very easily. He knew what he was doing. I didn't, but he did. And then I was talking again one time, Edward, and I call him Yeshua because that is his Sanskrit name.
Yeshua ben Joseph, I believe.
Yeah. And then here comes Mary Magdalene, and I'm going, now what? And I'm always kind of shocked because I wonder, why are they picking me when there's so many others out there? And pretty soon she's just slipped in. And now they can just kind of come and go as they want. And I'm very comfortable, and my energy has raised enough that I do not get tired.
Can you summon the one of those that you wish to come through?
Oh yeah, they're always here. If I'm out doing stuff, they don't always follow me around unless I'm asking. But as soon as I sit down and they know that something's going to happen, they immediately come. And I can just, sometimes one will get a little pushier than the other. I want to talk, and that's fine with me. That does not bother me. And other times I have to pick someone, but usually they just say, it's my turn. They raise their hand.
I just got a vision of you in a striped shirt as a referee.
And, you know, and
Yeah.
still others, I don't think there's anybody else out there yet. But if I want to, like one time I was just sitting here and Lady Diana came through, or Princess Diana, and I was with my group, and she just said, "This is why I died. This is why I chose." And it made a lot of sense.
Mm.
And I thought, so why they come to me, I don't know. I
Mhm.
really don't know.
Well,
But
why not? I mean, really, we're all part of the total, or the creator. One is no better than the other.
no,
No, there is more consciousness perhaps with ascended masters or archangels, but that's okay. We have our turn at those higher dimensions as well.
well,
So,
somebody asked me one time, "Aren't you afraid?" And I said, "No, I've never been afraid."
yeah,
So maybe that's part of it, is that I don't get upset. I don't get frightened. I'm very appreciative.
yeah, yeah. And the channelers I deal with, and actually there's 61 of them as of yesterday, they, yeah, they all begin to relax into it and just enjoy it. I'd like to spend a lot more time probing your life as a channeler, but I am mindful of the clock and would like to meet whoever would like to channel through you today. Do you have a sense of who that might be?
I think Edward will start out because he
Yeah.
was the first one, and he's very plain spoken, and he doesn't always have messages of how to live your life like Yeshua does,
Mhm.
and Mary Magdalene sort of does. He just rolls with the punches.
Yeah. Arcturians are known to some of us anyway as healers. I'm reading a book right now by Tom Kenyon, and let me just, maybe I can grab it. Yeah. I don't know if the camera would show this very well. It's showing it backwards, but it's called The Arcturian Anthology by Tom Kenyon and Judy Sion.
Oh, very good.
Um, does that look backwards to you?
No, it's fine. No, it's right.
Oh,
It's correct.
okay. On my screen, there is some really good knowledge in there. The history of humanity, a bunch of things about the Arcturians. In any event, we better move on, Maureen.
Okay.
Make some time for these folks. So, what do you want to do? Do you want to just go into the state and we'll see who comes through?
Oh, Edward's already here.
Okay.
Yeah, the other two left.
Okay. So, what are you going to do? Close your eyes and then I know he's
Yeah,
there.
because I do better with my eyes closed because then I don't have any visual interference.
Sure.
You know, it makes more sense to me. Yeah, he's excited. He's ready to answer any questions that you have.
Well, Edward, it's really nice of you to be here, and I appreciate it very much. And I think our audience will find this is really going to be enriching, as it always has been in the past. I guess you saw me holding up the book about Arcturians, and I was wondering if you could maybe give us a little synopsis of who the Arcturians are and how you sort of fit into that society.
I fit in I'm not high, I'm not low, as you humans like to put people. I'm sort of in the middle. In your society, it would be like I'm in the middle class, if you want to have an analogy of what you can understand where I fit in. But we have no class system in the Arcturians. There are people that are much stronger, and there are people that are much weaker as far as spiritual, physical, mental, but that is normal in any society, but we do not judge them. I am sort of in the middle. I like it here.
Mm-hmm.
I feel I have more freedom being in the middle. And I have been educated. I was educated enough to know that I could travel to other galaxies and learn how to use my skills. I am very happy where I am. My skills have increased tremendously over time, going to various galaxies, and each galaxy is very different. And that is what is fascinating to me, is the energy that I pick up on each galaxy. I have become strong enough that I was then able to go to your galaxy and to planet Earth. It did not happen overnight. I had to learn, I had to change, I had to raise my vibrations, I had to get more education. And I have done that, and I am enjoying it here a great deal. Where I come from with the Arcturians, I was a worker. It's very hard to explain jobs there because it is so different from what you have here. The Arcturians where I live were very peaceful, very loving, very kind. Just as on your planet, there are people or spirits that do healing. Some do manual labor, some are teachers. So I learned, I was more of a manual labor for a while till I got stronger and I became a healer. But that was not my calling. My calling really was not to go to other places and heal. My calling was go to other places and be with them and let their energy rise up, for they can heal themselves. And that is what I've done here on Earth. I came into this humans to raise her vibration so that she becomes a natural healer by talking to people, by being around them. That's all she has to do. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have to do a bunch of talking and waiting, moving her hands, just being around them. And that is what I hope to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. Are you physical or spiritual, or can you be both?
When I am back with my Arcturian family, it is a sort of physical, not like yours, but when I leave, I'm spiritual.
Okay. Yes, when you say physical, but not like ours, is that kind of like a light being?
We have a form, but for you to see us, it would be like a ghostly form. Mm. But when we are with our own, we do see each other. But some can become more solid like this. Others want to stay in the more ghostly form. It is easier to travel that way. It's too hard to travel when you are in a solid form.
Now, I understand you have spaceships, and that puzzles me a bit. Are they physical, or are they in some way more ghostly or spiritual?
They can be both. We can change from a more solid. Once we are in a solid form, it is hard to go back to more of the spiritual ghostly form. Mm-hmm. It's once, just as you as humans, once you are solid, you cannot go into any kind of a spiritual form. You have a light around you. So we can see the light. There are people on this planet that can see the other human light, but you physically cannot change into a ghost. Not until you have passed on, and then you become spiritual. But we can change from various forms of physical. But once we are totally solid, it is very hard to go back. And that is a choice. But I can go, if I choose to go back, I become halfway between more solid and more ghostly, but I can function. But I can change to the spiritual so I can travel. And I do not need a spaceship to travel.
Fascinating. Why are you here doing this, Edward?
I chose to do this. I wanted new experiences. I felt like I had gone as far as I could within the other planets, and I needed a challenge. I learned how to navigate the other galaxies, but I needed more of a challenge. It was a challenge coming here because the energy of the earth is so different in many ways, not just solid planets, but the sun, the weathers, the cold, the heat, rain. Some of the other planets do not have that. Some do, some do not. I needed a challenge to break through the energy of the earth to come here. That was a challenge for me. I tried several times. And I had to learn to change my vibration, to not so much raise or lower it, but change it. I had to be stronger. I had to be more forceful in my wanting to come here and actually come through. And I looked for various humans, and I found several, but this one, there was an easy connection, and I knew she would not be afraid. She would accept me. She would actually sort of laugh that I wanted to come in, and I liked that. I liked that laughter. And I hung around for a long time till I finally, my vibrations, my energy could change and match. And so that was a challenge for me, and I really enjoyed it. And I enjoy being here now.
Do I understand it correctly that Arcturians are here in rather large numbers as well? Is that the case?
Yes. So
Why
are
is that?
and so are Palladians.
Yes. Why is that?
The earth is going through huge changes, not just with people, not just with people's energy, but Gaia is changing. And we are here to help with those changes. We do not want to see Earth destroyed. And we want to see people change so there are no more wars, conflicts, jealousies, whatever, anger, fear. We want to help change them. The Palladians and the Arcturians do have spaceships. You cannot see them yet. Some people see them in the right areas because we have many homes here on Earth. One of these days we will make ourselves known when the humans are ready. But we are here to try to change the energy of the planet so you do not destroy yourselves and you can make it a more comfortable, happy place to live. It's slow, but it is happening.
That must be a challenge for you. We seem to be on the edge of launching nuclear bombs and such things.
Well, just by changing this one's energy, we can see how that spreads out. And there are other people's whose energies are changing. They are spreading out. It's slow, but it is happening.
Edward, from your perspective, seeing all this change and some people would say turmoil and maybe even chaos on the planet, would you have a message for humanity in general that if we all heard it, it might help us?
The biggest message is stop being so frightened of even the smallest thing. Stop being so scared. Sit down and go into your heart and say, why am I so scared? Why does this frighten me? And so many things frighten people. And stop looking at everything as evil or scary or frightened or dangerous. Look at something and say, oh, that is really interesting. What will I learn from this? An example would be, I know someone, or this human knows someone who doesn't like other people. She's afraid of them. If she would change her attitude and say, you know, they probably have something of interest for me. I should learn to love them because maybe someday I will need their protection. Her whole world would change. Just thinking about changing your thoughts, your attitude, your perspective can be huge. So if the world stopped being so frightened of everything, you would see a huge, huge change in energy shift, because fear, anger is very low vibration, very low.
Yes, and I know we slide into that fear rather subtly, and we're not even aware often when it happens. It would be ideal if we had something like an alarm that went off when we were going down that fear path. And when we hear the alarm, we immediately start to think, this could be interesting, or I wonder where this is going, and back
Yes.
off the fear.
Yes.
Sometimes I've suggested to people that when they're thinking negative thoughts and catch themselves, just say to themselves the word switch, and then think of a happy memory that puts a smile on their face, something like that. And yeah, if we could catch ourselves when we're into that fear mode and switch into a more curious or loving mode. Yeah, good. That's a great message. Thank you very much.
The biggest thing that people have to learn is that they all have guides around them. And if they don't like their guides, they can sit in meditation and ask for other guides, better guides, more educated guides. You can change your guides out. They are not 100% permanent with you, because you have guides as a child, as a teenager, young adult, and as you go through time, your guides change, and your guides change because you change. But if you sit down and you ask your guides, okay, this is happening to me. I'm scared. I'm worried about this. Just sit there and go, I need to get out of fear. I trust you. Please protect me. That's really all it takes. It's so simple, and they will come and protect you. But you have to get out of that mode of fear, because you block that energy that the guides want to give you, that kind, loving energy. And if you receive it, you would be surprised how quiet you become, and the fear leaves.
Among the guides, or in conjunction with them, I understand we have angels as well.
Yes. Yes. Now the angels will stay with you, but you can ask for more angels.
Oh. What do they do, actually?
If you have chosen to come here and you'd like to live to 100, you will be given birth angels who will protect you so that you can make it to 100. They will watch out for you, and your guides will watch out for you. If you become gravely ill, the angels will be there to make sure that you become healthier, or you heal, so that you can make it to 100. But you also have a right to check out before 100. You have exit points.
Yes.
But if you choose to die at, say, 30 for a lesson for who knows what, the angels will help you cross over at 30 and make sure that you have crossed over completely, easily, and the way you wish to do it, so that they will carry you on to where you go. So the birth angels try to protect you for whatever you choose. You say, if you have an exit point coming up and you say, no, I don't want to leave, they will make sure you get past that so you can move on. They will be here always for you until you truly are ready to cross over.
Maybe a last question. Are we always ready to cross over? I think often we're kicking and screaming when we're at death's door. Just kind of wired that way, I think.
Some people are ready. They know exactly what they're doing. Others, no, you're right. They're scared to death. They do not know what's on the other side. There are many reasons for that. Some are the religious reasons, where they say about hell. They say you'll be punished. Some people are scared to death. Others have no concept of guides, angels. They have no concept. They think it's all bad. But it is slowly changing, slowly. people are now talking about passing on and that they will be with loved ones. You hear that all the time.
Yes, we do.
It is changing. It is changing. No, some people don't mind leaving the earth. Others, you're right. They're afraid because they don't know what's ahead of them. But a person can die very, very quietly when they are, I guess, in a semi-awake, semi-sleeping, and relatives from the other side come in and say, we're here to take you. And they're so joyous that they see their long lost relatives that they just go very easily. Queen, your latest death has been your Queen of England.
Yes.
Her father and her husband came down to guide her over. It was very, very easy for her.
Oh, nice. Yeah, a lot of people would like to hear that. Thank you. I think we were going to have to wrap up, just being mindful of the clock and all, but thank you very much. Some great messages in what you brought us today. And I look forward to many more of them with you and Maureen.
Namaste. I enjoy this so much.
Great. Namaste and many blessings to you.
Thank you.
Maureen, you just come on back when you're ready.
It's so much faster now than it used to be.
Yeah, you're in and out. Just
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
wonder who I am sometimes.
Well, I know when you have your glasses on, your chances are you're Maureen.
Yep. Can't see without them.
How do you feel after that? Is this drain your energy? Or
no, not anymore. It used to. It used to, but not anymore. Yeah. It almost energizes me.
Yep. Some channelers report that. Yeah. Well, Maureen, this has been great. If people want to get in touch with you, I know you do personal counseling. I'm sure you're up for doing it with groups. And how do people get in touch?
Well, the best way is just my email, because I also do past lives. And some people, they like that. I'm sticking more with past lives. The mediumship, I'm not always sure of, because I never know who comes through. And I can't always guarantee I would get a relative. You know, not always. So I usually stick with just the channeling or the past lives. But the email is K, and then my name, Maureen, MAUREEN 145@gmail.com.
Good.
And I will work on a website one of these days.
Yeah, one thing at a time. Yeah, well, Maureen, thank you very much for doing this. This has been very uplifting, very enlightening, and kind of fun too.
You know, Edward, I see these guys all around me. And he's right now he's jumping up and down, going, "That was fun. That was fun." He's got a great sense of humor. Great sense of humor. Let's
do some more sometime.
Yeah.
Thanks, Maureen.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.